Hello, this is Chuck Martin. We're at the AI Summit London, and I'm happy to say I have with me here today Rajat Kotra, Group Director of Data and Analytics Management at Informa. Welcome.
Thank you, Chuck. Good to see you again.
Likewise. So last year we chatted here, and we talked about how to start an AI initiative. I presume now it's started. So now where do you go from here?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It started, and we have set up an AI COE in the business. And like I said last time, I work in the group, so my job is really to make sure that we make the right investments, and then we build an infrastructure for the teams to start, identifying the right use cases, and then start executing them and creating value. So we have now kind of a well-established data platform in the business, which we have called Iris, and that collects data across various events and kind of centralizes that. But we're also creating AI Center of Excellence, which is sort of the one-stop shop from a prioritization of use case perspective. But we are still very focused on having the execution at the edges, like I said before. Our teams which are involved in creating benefits from AI are really at the customer-facing units. And so the data team, along with the AI Center of Excellence, works with the business-facing teams to create solutions, and that will include external solutions sometimes, but mostly right now internal solutions from a generative AI perspective. And our areas of focus are really around content, around sales enablement, and internal productivity.
So does a business have to set up this whole structure before really getting going, or can they do things as they go along?
Well, they can absolutely do things as they go along. The two things they definitely need, more than ever before. One is the data platform. So you need to have the base data to really start, connecting the dots. I sometimes say it in a way that before you start collecting external data, connect your internal data so that you can basically get the complete picture. And then the other thing you need is you need a team of specialists, which I call the hub, right, which can help with the how. They may not execute the how. The execution of the how has to be done at the business end, customer-facing teams. But some specialist senior leaders who are basically trying to explain to the business teams out there how to most efficiently do this and also scale this from one business unit to the other, because you don't want to make the same mistakes again and again and again.
So one of the obvious questions is, you've got this internal group in a business, not just Informa, but any business, and then you've got all these external groups who aren't doing anything with AI yet, and they don't know what they should be doing necessarily. They're running their business. How does it start to integrate to scale a company globally even?
So, in our perspective, like I said, our first focus is on internal use cases. So what we are trying to do is to educate the business teams on how they can start utilizing generative AI in their day-to-day workflow. So like I said, content, so focus on where you can use generative AI, and we use standard tools. We don't let teams really experiment with whatever they want. We have infrastructures which are defined, right? We have licenses available from the company side. We are not going full steam yet, but we are doing it in a controlled manner. But the point is that you use that in your day-to-day activities. Try to come up with what's called a first pass output for a customer. But before anything goes to the customer, it has to be manually confirmed, validated, and only then it can really become part of the workflow. So we are really in that journey. The initial focus is internal productivity, and that's going to be there for some time. And then we'll start releasing some of the stuff, use case by use case basis, business by business, to our end customers eventually.
So when a business, any business, picks their platform and then they start integrating everything, is there any risk later that newer or better technology comes along, because everything's evolving, and that their platform is obsolete and they have to change? Or is it likely that a business is going to pick a platform and stick with it?
Well, that's an interesting question, right? In this evolving landscape now, I would not say that nothing can change. Almost everything can change at any point of time. But that's where, in my model, the hub and spoke model, which I spoke about before, the hub becomes very important, because the hub is not involved in execution on day to day, but what they're really looking at is they're looking at, among other things, looking at the landscape of what's going to come. So they sort of have a future view of technology as well, and they're trying to make sure that you don't deviate too much from where the world is going to move eventually. So they try to create a check and balance system in that. But I think if you talk about large language models, I think the key now going forward is that basic foundational work has been done. I don't think any of us as business users or industry, applicators of that are interested in building our own large model. Where we are going to really, innovate and invest is to build our small models. Build our models which will use the existing large models, but train them on our data sets, train them on our use cases, and bring value to our customers internally first and then externally.
So last question, a year from now, we're sitting here again. What are we going to be talking about in AI?
Well, we should be really, I'm still hopeful because that we should be talking about specific use cases. I can give you a few examples right now, but I am not doing that because we really haven't released that to the customers. So, but we are definitely, doing it internally. So next year from now, as the industry matures, as the establishment of trust and regulations become more and more stronger, I think we can, like I said, I can still share some practical examples, but I am not doing that yet. But next year we can definitely talk about some more practical examples of how we were able to add value to an end customer and how we were able to also kind of increase some of the pricing we have on our existing products because we are adding that value.
I look forward to the case studies very much. Thank you, Rajat. This is Chuck Martin at the AI Summit London.